Welcome, everybody, to Cup with Gup on this Labor Day, Monday, September 6th. Hope you guys had a great Labor Day weekend, and including today. And we move on to our last college football game tonight, which will be an awesome one. I don't know if it can outdo that phenomenal Notre Dame Florida State game last night, but it'll still be fun. Bobby's already dropped the article for tonight's showdown. A lot of talking going on in Slack if you guys want to jump in there. And then more importantly, we are just 3 days away from the start of 2021 NFL season. And with that, I'll be announcing we are partnering up with a company called Prediction Strike. And with me is their head of strategy, Nico. He looks like he's enjoying his day a lot more than we are. I believe he is at a family wedding out by a beach somewhere. So, Nico, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Brandon. Thanks for having me on. I'm actually, I'm in France for my sister's wedding, but I wanted to carve out some time because I've been really looking forward to connecting and sort of formally launching this partnership we've been working on.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. You guys dropped a brand new version of your app Thursday, I believe, or somewhere in that range. So you can obviously get the app on any, I assume, I got it on Apple, but any kind of market where you get apps, you can search Prediction Stripe and get that downloaded. By the time we get done with this little preview, you'll want to do that. The website's also up and working perfectly fine. I'm on it now just because it's easier than staring at my phone, predictionstrike.com.
Of course.
So if someone's new or they're listening right now and they go, what is Prediction Strike? What would your first answer be?
Yeah, sure. So I have my standard 30-second elevator pitch, but I'll even do it simpler than that. We're essentially the stock market for sports. That's it. There's a whole bunch of different investment classes now, right? You can invest in crypto, art, wine, real estate, whatever you'd like. And we've made a real stock market for sports. You can buy and trade and sell athletes just like stocks. You can hold them for a day, hold them for their whole career if you believe in them, and you can build a portfolio and make money. So for people who love sports, who love fantasy sports, who really know the space, it's a chance for them to use that knowledge and make money. It's hard necessarily to invest in real companies on the S&P 500 and have that sort of skill arbitrage and beat real analysts who spend all day on Wall Street learning. But if you're someone like yourself or someone who really, really loves sports, there is the chance to really just start to invest in what you know. So that's what our company is, Prediction Strike. And we just unveiled a new app just in time for the football season. It's been a mad dash to get that done. But yeah, we're proud to announce that we've done it. And we just can't wait for this football season to start.
Yeah, I was messing around on it last night. It's very smooth, very easy to get around on. Especially I would personally recommend to get on the website and kind of understanding of it all. And then when you go to the app, it makes it a little smoother. So I think most people that are listening to this in my industry the first thing that would pop into their mind would be the jock market type setup that I know that for our guys that have been heavy in PGA up until now before we kick off football season, is there similarities? Is that a fair comparison, or how does that work in your eyes?
So I would say they're a closer comparison than some of our other DFS alternatives like the classic FanDuel or DraftKings, but there are pretty distinct dissimilarities. So they and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not too close to jock market, but you build a sort of portfolio based on athletes who IPO that day before their game, and they pay out to you that day, right?
Correct.
We allow people to buy and sell shares of any athlete whenever they want, and when they IPO, just as a company would, they are always tradable on the stock market. They don't IPO before games. They don't go away. You can always invest in them. And then that allows different investment strategies. So if you want to day trade because you think that for sure if you think Dwayne Wade, like 5 years ago, was going to tear up Cleveland and you knew that he had a great matchup, you would invest in him that day. But for example, I'm a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to have a great career. So I want to hold a young rookie and watch him become a potential Hall of Famer. There's all sorts of these different ways to play, which makes us sort of our own category.
Yeah, and I agree with that, just being on there. So one thing that would come to my mind, and I believe we talked about it the first time we talked, is let's say I like Tom Brady. What happens if he finally hangs it up this year? Like, what happens to my shares? Do I lose that money? Like, that'd be something that someone would ask. What about when they retire? What happens?
No, of course. That's a classic question. That and like what happens when someone gets injured, right? So what happens is stock prices, and I'll zoom out a bit, but stock prices for athletes move on two factors: performance relative to expectations and supply and demand. So what happens when someone retires is their performance expectations disappear because they're not supposed to perform. So the only factor that will move their stock will be supply and demand. And we anticipate that legends like that, everyone's going to want to have sort of that collectible, that feeling that they own share in Tom Brady. So
Sure.
despite there not being projections, that's a sort of fun thing to own. So we anticipate supply and demand will hold strong. And we've seen athletes retire, and their stock prices do just fine. And as far as injuries are concerned, it's sort of the same situation where your performance expectations disappear because you're not supposed to perform. So your stock price can't fall because of the injury. If it does fall, it's going to be because people are worried about the athlete's Achilles or their ACL or something, and that there might be lingering long-term concerns. But that's how that mechanism works.
So when does a player come into the stock market? Let's say, like, when did Trevor Lawrence become available? Do they have to officially sign their contract? You guys, I mean, how does that work in your world?
So in our world currently, what happens is we have to partner with our data provider to get their performance expectations. Okay. So the moment that their projections are published, we can IPO them, and it usually happens soon after the draft. So we were so excited to get the NFL rookies, and we're actually about to get this new wave of NBA rookies projections live so that we can as well add them into the app.
And I assume if someone's on there, like, they'll have plenty of time to know, hey, this IPO on Trevor Lawrence goes live May 3rd or whatever. Like, they don't have to be monitoring all the time. They'll know, or you'll make announcements when there's going to be IPOs.
Oh, and we IPO people in sort of a rollout, like a big class. So we'll say the NFL rookies will be out, May 3rd or whatever it is. And then we'll market that event so that everybody knows. And we've seen like IPO boosts. Of course, everyone wants in the moment they're available. So that's always a fun week to invest. But I mean, I personally am more of like the buy and hold kind of trader on prediction strike. So for example, when Anthony Edwards on the Timberwolves IPO'd, I think it was something around like $3 or $4, and he quintupled because he was a contender for Rookie of the Year. No one expected him to be good, but maybe not that great. But I think I got in like halfway through, and it was still a great investment. It's not too much of the miss out on the IPO sort of concern that you might see in different companies.
I did see that there is the option I see it says trade value. So you can, so if I'm high on, Mac Jones, and maybe I got him early, and then someone comes to me and says, hey, I got some nice Tom Brady that's up, you can trade with him. Is that as easy as it look or sounds?
Well, so the way it works is all of your trades immediately will execute, and we actually pick up the other side of the trade. So it's not yet peer to peer. Okay. So all orders on that end, or being worried about that your orders won't fill because there's not demand, we immediately will fill an order within milliseconds. And so if you were high on somebody, but you think it's time to move your shares into somebody else, you can facilitate that in a split second.
Yeah, just sell him and then go buy. So you just sell some Mac Jones to go buy some Brady. I got you. And you don't have to hold out waiting to someone to physically buy it yet. You guys kind of house it at that point in time. I got you. So currently I see NBA, NFL, but there's grayed out MLB, NHL, soccer, golf, which is big in this community, esports. Or I assume it'd be, I don't want to make, you know what assume means, that those are coming, right?
Of course. So our current plan is we're going to be unveiling the UFC now on November 6th at Madison Square Garden for UFC 268.
We have a nice new UFC following as well.
Well, it's somehow developed into like my favorite sport. I absolutely love watching it. It's just so competitive, like the nature of it. And people who love that sport love to be financially invested in that sport. So we couldn't be more excited to be at that event and sort of announce that. And what we're doing afterwards, we'll be adding the NHL and the MLB, which are very sort of seamless additions. They operate in a similar fashion to the NBA and the NFL. And then what we'll also be doing is unveiling soccer prior to the World Cup. So probably in the spring. And that's another thing that we're enormously excited for.
Do you have any ETA for golf? I know people want to know that in our community.
Yeah, we can probably get it up, and we'd like to winter or spring.
Yeah, I think that'll be a huge hit among the Gups corner. I think NFL and NBA will be big. NFL is obviously probably the biggest anywhere, but we have a good following on all those, so it'll be exciting to see that. I see on the website, like it says friends and leagues. Friends, I can assume you can just kind of friend someone like you would on Facebook, and just kind of. And do you see their portfolio if you're friends?
We had to keep some elements of privacy, so you can see who they are buying, but you don't know how many or what quantity or at what price. But you can see what kind of shares your friends are holding, and if you want to sort of take their ideas. So if you actually look at the current version of the app, we have yet to add social, but we're actually currently working it through, and we're going to be adding it within a few weeks or maybe even a month or so. But we'll be having social in there, and you'll have friends, leagues, and a few other cool features that we'll be announcing. But leagues, for example, operate in a way that you can sort of collect with your friends, compete with each other, and see who's building the best and most effective portfolio.
And then if someone says, hey, I kind of want to understand the whole, like if I see Trevor Lawrence is $8.18 a share, but they want to see like, what does that compare to all the quarterbacks? Is it super easy just to go? I found it like yesterday. You can go in there and filter and sort and all that kind of stuff to kind of see like $8.18. I don't know if I feel that's good, bad, or indifferent. So could I go look at all the quarterbacks real quick and go, okay, I think Pat Mahomes would probably be the highest. So let me go compare Lawrence to Mahomes type of deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're actually, obviously, we're all enormously proud of the new app. And one of the things we do very well is like you can sort for positions for sport. And you can see all QBs and see where they're priced at. What I do have to say about prices, though, is they're not exactly one-to-one correlated with an athlete's exceptionalism. Like, you know how great an athlete is doesn't necessarily mean their stock price is going to be the highest.
Sure.
Because what causes stock prices to rise is beating expectations. So if an athlete routinely demolishes their expectations, like a surprise rookie or someone who came back off an injury, you can easily see their stock prices skyrocket and surpass like a well-established star, for example. So, for example, we actually had Steph Curry's stock price over the last year didn't skyrocket, even though he had a great year. And it was because he routinely sat out the fourth quarter. He frequently missed expectations for those reasons. So really where the magic happens is finding what athletes are going to be better than people think they will be. And that's why it's so important to really understand what you're getting into with these athletes.
No, and it's awesome. Like, so one guy I looked at last night, because I obviously didn't know about Prediction Strike until we started talking, but a guy I would have been high on, and I was high on last preseason, was Justin Jefferson. And so if you go search his name, it really pulls up a cool, fantasy trend, how he trended, and then his price, how he trended. You know, he goes from 382 last September to right now he's 936. So you'd be almost three extra money there. It shows his next game projections, game history, really neat features. His current price up, down. You can add him to a watch list. Really neat stuff on here. I'm excited for it. For my followers, I will be doing, little segments throughout the week on guys that I'm looking at. Maybe you want to buy early on, sell early, buy late, sell late. If they want to join and they use the code GUP, GUP, what does that get them today?
Yeah, so if you use GUP, all undercase, you'll be getting a free athlete random share when you deposit 20 or more bucks. We've seen these shares. You might get an athlete worth 20 bucks. And we have a certain floor so that no one's getting too cheap a share. So it's a fun way to sort of start your investment journey within Prediction Strike, because you can always check on your players, see how they're doing, and get comfortable with how the app works prior to you buying a bunch of shares of your favorite athlete. So that's currently what they get. And they could also refer their friends using their personal referral code without limit. And as many friends as they refer, they can also get free shares for when they deposit as well.
Yeah, that's one thing that I liked about it. It looks like, so if someone signs up under GUP, they're going to get the free share, but then they can also pay it back by, they have their own referral code, and that'll still stay connected. There's no harm in that. So they can start getting their friends to join, and that looks like a good, it'll build upon itself very nicely. In our community, I think that'll be a good thing.
Oh, I think it's gonna be fantastic, and in fact, I'd love for your community to refer each other. Build that portfolio of shares within their own market and portfolio, so that they can see how cool it really works. And it takes some time to learn, and you always want to have a chance to sort of build trust and see how things operate before getting your feet wet.
Yeah, and I think it was a great week. We're heading into NFL season, so like a Justin Jefferson type. If you're on someone like that before they start playing, they obviously can get them extremely cheap. Is there anybody that they would like? I guess it would come down to your data provider, but I would assume anybody that's in the league is going to be, if they're playing and with action, they'll be in your database. Let me put it this way: if someone's looking for a player and they don't find them, is there a help, or how would they reach out?
Yeah, so every single NFL and NBA athlete are on the platform.
Okay.
They've all IPO'd. They're all there. You can all easily accessible and findable and tradable. So there's no concern from there. And we get these projections when they IPO, and because we always have the next game projections, they're never unavailable to trade. So it's not like, well, who's playing today? What kind of research do I have to do? If you're the day trader type, you might love that. And there's the avenues for you to do that. But if you're the buy and hold type also, and it's nice to have a fun mix. Like if you look at your own investment portfolio to draw comparisons to if you're having a Robinhood or account, whatever,
right.
You will have your staple, you'll have your S&P 500, you'll have a bunch of traditional stocks and indexes. But you might have an option because you think oil's going up next month. So there's something there for everybody within our platform. So if you are the type to think, right, Mac Jones or Christian McCaffrey's gonna have a crazy game, that's a fun way to invest. And also if you think, just like I said, Trevor Lawrence is gonna be a Hall of Famer. So and that sort of manifests in different ways. We see some of the best performers oftentimes are rookies because it's really hard to understand properly who will this player be. And we're not that great at it, right? Like you look at the draft results, we think we know what we're doing, but not always.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's where a lot of the sort of arbitrage or the ability to make fantastic returns are. And then as well as we see players who make that leap from greatness to superstardom. Like we saw Nikola Jokic, I think he almost 2x or 3x over the course of the season. Even though he had great projections, he's already an all-star, but he was that MVP candidate this year. So there's all these different ways to find success in the app, which is, for me, that's just so exciting.
Yeah, I think our community is going to like it. I think it's something different. There's no competitiveness or me versus you or like our traditional DFS sports. So it's almost like, hey, people can talk about it and say, hey, what do you guys think about? Just like you said, I'm going to go buy this. We have a Slack channel for stocks and NFTs and stuff, and people will talk in there about strategies and all that. And I can see this being the same deal. And of course, myself and our contributors. One guy I'm going to talk up this week a little bit is Rondell Moore. I really like him a lot. I've talked highly on him leading up to season-long drafts and stuff like that. He's $3.64. I would consider that a good buy. I think he's in a good system with Kyler. I think he's a little lower on there's a lot of big rookies this year that you're getting some value there. If he in his expectations, he could exceed them a little easier than some others. So it'll be fun. And there's no miles of research and all that like you have to do for a DFS slate. So I think people are really going to enjoy it. Before we head out of here, any final things from you? And we'll get this rolling out with our community.
No, I couldn't wait. I can't wait to officially launch this. I'm actually on the Slack channel myself. I've just been added. I think I'm under NDJ Pro, my old email. So if you have any questions, reach out to me there. Post a Slack message. I'll try to be involved, and I'm going to have to get in on that athlete share you were just talking about. Because I think I need your expertise as well.
Yeah, and I'll have a pinned message in Slack in case someone forgets or watches this and has questions later. You can always refer to that. The code GUP will be on there, but everybody knows that's pretty much the code most of the time, the stuff I do. But I appreciate you coming on. That's one thing I liked about this product is that not a lot of time we'll actually get the person from the product to come on and kind of talk about it. So I think our community will enjoy that. And I will be back later on with some, as we head into NFL for my community. And I hope you guys have a blessed day. Thank you very much.